Most startups lose customers before they ever get a chance to succeed. Post-onboarding is where most silent churn happens. Customers stop replying, they stop logging in, they stop caring. But what if I told you one automated message sent exactly 3 days after sign up could cut your churn rate in half? A well-timed personal feedback message 3 days in can make them feel heard and help you fix small problems before they lead to a subscription cancellation. In this video, we'll show you how to trigger post-onboarding feedback automatically using N8N and AI so that no customer ever feels ignored again. You already did the hard part. The customer signed up, they onboarded, things are looking good. But now they're gone. No support ticket, no complaint, just disengagement. And it's not because your product is bad, it's because you didn't check in. This happens because of commitment drop off, when users lose momentum right after taking the first step, especially if there's no emotional reinforcement or next action. That's where this automation comes in. A simple message at the right time can start a conversation, surface problems, and most importantly, build trust. Because when users feel seen, they stay. So let's head over to Alex, our Chief AI Officer, for the full walkthrough.
Okay, we're back. So previously, we built a flow that would enable new customers to sign up. It worked great. We used AI to respond to them. It's fantastic. We solved the problem of onboarding, right? But now we need to re-engage. The second they onboard, they're gone, right? You have disengagement. Not great. So what we want to do is make sure that we can reach back out in a timely manner to re-engage them, right? To keep that conversation going, which, among other things, builds a good rapport and also builds trust. So how can we do that? What we can do is take our original new school AI flow with agent that we built in N8N before, and let's expand upon it. Let's create something that will then reach back out to a onboarded customer, a new member, after X amount of time. We can do that very simply. And again, we can augment the flow that we already built to give the agent more tools. And this is why we built it the way we did in the first place, where we used agentic AI so that we can continue to add to it and let it just continually grow in capability instead of having to add a new automation for every single use case we have. So let's get into it. Before, while we built a automation that just simply replied or sent a welcome email to a newcome or an onboarded new member or customer, what we weren't doing was storing them anywhere, right? So that's the first thing we want to solve for. What I have here is a Google Sheet. You can use any flavor of spreadsheet or database. We're just going to mock up a kind of a database table using Google Sheets. It's a really easy way to store customer information for us to continue to reach out or see where we're at in the onboarding process. So as you'll see from our first one, we had Chuckles E sign up from Chuckles House of Horrors. He signed up yesterday. So we're storing them in this sheet. What we're now going to do is go back into our new school AI agent flow, and you'll see I've added some capability here that we can kind of go throughout and see how we're not only facilitating that onboarding, that initial contact email, but also storing the new customer and reaching out to customers that we need to follow up with. So you'll notice the form submission information is all the same. I haven't changed any of this. It's still that first name, last name, email address, company name. That's going to be our trigger, is that form. Now, there's no reason why you can't have this also triggered on a schedule. Let's say you just want to build something that just runs every 24 hours and just gets the status of your members from your Google Sheet or your database. You can do that too. In this instance, we're just going to be triggering this when there's a new form submitted, at which point our agent is going to not only send out that welcome email and add that new customer to our sheet, but also go and see from that sheet what customers need to be followed up with. You'll notice that our good buddy Chuckles signed up yesterday, and that was over 24 hours ago, and there's been no follow-up. So let's see how we can address this. One thing we do here is after the form is submitted, and we'll run this and you'll see the flavor of it. we get all members. This is a static step that I prefer not to do. I would rather just give the AI agent the ability to get all members to go and check which ones need to be signed up on. But for whatever reason, the agent wasn't actually doing this. This might be something missing from my prompting technique. But no matter what I did, it just would not force itself into using that tool to then go and figure out what members need to be followed up with. So what I did is I got all members already existing after the trigger so that I could give the AI agent the new members information and also all existing members information at the same time when we engage it in that initial prompt. And that was able to successfully kind of move the agent into doing what we wanted to do. So let's take a look at what that agent is actually being told to do. Okay, so there's a lot here. We've added quite a bit. Some of it looks familiar. We'll go over some of the new stuff that we've added since. Okay, so just as on our previous flow, the original flow, we have the information that was submitted with the form and new sign up. And this is our prompt message, right? But then we're also providing all current members. And that's what we're getting from this get all members step, right? We're just getting everything from our database table right here. And that's what you see right here in this prompt is, again, the submission form information and then all current members. So we're just giving it all in one prompt to our agent so that it has context for everything that we could want it to actually do. And this is where our system message comes in, right? So initially, our prompt, our system message was, hey, when someone signs up, send them a nice onboarding email. Well, we're going to expand this agent's remit and just let it decide what to do with the information we give it. So we've updated it to you're an AI assistant, Dirks with Dirks Bentley USA, the nation's premier dealer of Bentley automobiles. You provide many different capabilities. See, we've kind of expanded it to say, hey, you could do a lot of things. You send out welcome emails to new members and also follow up with existing members. This and the LLMs love this very structured kind of format when we're talking to them, when we're providing them with any instructions. We want to break it up like we would when we're talking to just a very, very capable but very inexperienced intern. Give it sections. Give it really step-by-step instructions. Give it semantic clues on how it should be interpreting or reading this information, just as we do when we write anything to a human. So since it can send out welcome emails and send out follow-up emails, we have kind of two sections here, right? When a new member signs up, do these things. So you add the member's information to the new member sign-up sheet. That's our sheet right here. And then do that original prompt that we gave it. Write a warm first name personalized welcome email in HTML format for the startup founder who just signed up for Dirks Bentley's USA. Okay, but then we tell it, hey, after addressing the new member sign up, check the status of all existing members from the sheet. Now, this should move it to actually go in and utilize the get all member signups tool, right? If this was truly agentic, I wouldn't need to actually give it all of that information in the original prompt. It should actually then go and use this get all member signups tool to get that information. However, it was just never going down this path. So what we had to do was give it all that information in the prompt. And so then we can put in our system message, hey, if a new member has not been followed up with, and it is now over 24 hours since signing up, we tell it write a short, friendly message using the member's first name on how their experience with the product has been so far. Keep it warm, casual, supportive, right? We want that re-engagement. And then we tell it to update the member information on the new member sign-up sheet to denote that they've been followed up with. Do not follow up with new members who have not signed up less than 24 hours from the current date and time. And that's why you'll see in our actual prompt, we give it current time so that it has context for like, okay, where are we right now? It wouldn't know that otherwise. And that's important. Again, we tell it, do not follow up, because I was finding that it would just go and just start following up with everyone. It would even follow up with the member that it had just added and sent an email to 1 second previous. So we kind of not only positively prompt it in the system message, we sometimes have to add negative prompts, which is to say, this is what you shouldn't do. And that's fair. That's not to say that your original positive prompt is not capable enough. It's to say that we need to use all the capabilities in our prompting. And this is a really great way to do it. So, but again, we let it decide how to do all this and when. We just provide the tools. So as far as expanding that original new school AI with agent, this is great, right? We're just adding the tools, tweaking a little bit of get all members, pushing it in the right direction. But, again, we're just adding to the prompt. So let's actually see what this looks like and see where we go. Right now, we have just Chuckles signed up yesterday. We have no emails in our inbox. So let's just test the workflow, fill out the form, and then see where we go from there. Okay, so this is the sign up form. Now, we already have Chuckles in there, so we're going to do red tea, Chuckles, House of Horrors, plus red tea. So we're going to recycle Chuckles' email address. However, we're just going to add red tea to it so that we can denote it. Pro tip to anybody that never knew that, you can add a plus to any Gmail address and then whatever you want after it, and it will still send it to the original root address. Really useful if you're signing up for like loyalty cards or something. You can always just put like +gap@gmail.com. Super useful. And Red runs a company called Red's House of Fun. Different than Chuck. So, and we're going to hit submit. Boom. There you go. Okay, and it's submitted, and we can see the flow running. You're going to start seeing that agent bounce around. Right now, we're just kind of talking to the LLM, seeing what we can do with the prompt. Boom, sent the first email. Now it's adding and updating the member. Good, it's getting all the other members. Glad it went that way. It's talking to the LLM again. And then boom, sends another email, updated the members again, and then we're done. Super cool. So let's go see what it actually did. All right. Boom, there's Red, got added, boom, boom, boom. And then you'll notice up here, Chuck now has true. Here's the follow-up date, here's the follow-up time. It is indeed 7/24, so right when it went. Not great that it didn't put false here, but that's cool, that's okay. Doesn't necessarily need to be there. So yeah, we had Red added, and then we had Chuckles followed up with. Let's go look at some of the emails, all right? Here's Red's welcome message. This one was from a little earlier, I think. Red's welcome message. Hey, we're thrilled to have you. If you have any questions, reach out. It's a great welcome message. And then, boom. Hey, Chuckles. We hope you're enjoying your experience with us. How has everything been so far? We're here to support you every step of the way. Looking to hear from you. A really good follow-up message, personable. So you can see, cool. It did indeed follow up. So let's see if we can't just run this once more. Let's have some fun with this. I'm going to run all these emails. And let's add one more person. And let's see. Let's change this to 09. Cool. So that means both Red and Chuck signed up yesterday, more than 24 hours ago at this point. And let's just go to false. Let's see the follow-up to both of them. False. And let's see if we can't nudge it. I'm thinking once it sees that both say false, I'm betting when it adds the next new person that it will hopefully seed false in here, change these to true when it updates them. But let's just see what that looks like. So let's go run our flow again. Okay, our new member sign up. So this is going to be Todd G, right? And Chuckles House of Horrors plus Todd G at gmail.com. Sick. And this is Todd's Stupid House of Horrors. I don't know if it'll work, but whatever. Okay, and then we're going to submit that. Okay, and you'll see our workflow go. Now it's going to, again, ping around. It's going to go check with the LLM. Looks like it's going to add and update that member. I sent the email. It's going to get new members. Going to check with them. We should have 3 emails sent by the time this is done. Looks like it. Come on, LLM, hitting it up. Agent. Yep, there we go. There's our 3rd. And it's updating that 3rd, which is great. I don't know why it's checking to get all members, but who cares? It's sending another email. Good for them. It's going off the rails, but let's see what happened. Okay, so far so good. We have a new member, Todd G, with his Todd Stupid House of Horrors. That's fine. Yep, 727, cool. Added the new member just fine, right? And it does look like it went and followed up with both Red and Chuckles, using whatever date format it cared to. At 727, again, doing its own thing there, but whatever. Every day's a new day with these LLMs. And then it looks like we have 4 emails. All right. We have a welcome to Dirks Bentley, to Todd, as we would want, right? To Todd's Stupid House of Horrors. We love the creative spirit. Yeah, great. Love it. Okay. And then we have a follow-up email to Chuckles, as we would expect. We hope you're enjoying the experience. That's what we love. And then we have another welcome email to Todd's Stupid House of Horrors. I don't know why that fired off. Looks like it kind of got confused somewhere in there, bouncing around. We kind of want to tighten that down. We can do that in our prompt. We probably also do that in our tool flow, but that might be just some debugging, figuring out what. Not a terrible thing to send 2 unique emails to Todd. Might be nice. You'd probably want to, shuffle the names of who it's from. Seemed like you might have some really eager people. Just tell Todd hi. And then finally, we have the follow-up to Red, as we would expect. We noticed you signed up a little while ago. Just wanted to check back in. Again, these are very personable. It does re-engage with them, kind of solves that gap there where you have them on board and you have this new customer, but then you don't have any engagement. We reach back out, kind of solve for that problem. So I think the tool really does show that capability. Again, playing with these agents, you really have to nail down some of this tool use. You can see that it had no problem doing get all member signups. Sometimes we do have to kind of nail down and figure out why it was sending out 4 emails instead of the expected 3. But again, that's just probably prompt engineering in there, and also figuring out our tool set. One thing you do have to work with these tools is there is a description, and this is passed on to the LLM when it's deciding how to use and when to use tools. So you can set automatically if you want, but I found that if you have a specific way you want a tool to be used, you might actually want to manually write in the description, because the automatic description might be a little too broad and the LLM doesn't really have context for it, right? It knows it needs to update a spreadsheet or but maybe if this manual or automatic description is too narrow, too overly specific to the API call that the tool is facilitating, it might not actually help the LLM select it. So one thing you need to do is go into the description for the tool and make sure that it is really useful to the LLM in describing what it needs to do. So just one thing, and those are kind of some stuff we can pursue to try to, solve for some of that inconsistency. But otherwise, this is a fully flexible agent that we continue to add to, and it does solve for that second part of the onboarding process, which is re-engagement, reaching out, making sure that, we're touching base and keeping that discussion and conversation and building that trust with the new customer. So I'm thrilled. Okay, little bonus for you, right? We have our agent. We're adding the new member to the Google Sheet. We're updating the Google Sheet once we're doing all the reach out and whatnot. But that's probably only part of what you want to handle when you're doing outreach, re-engagement with a new customer or an existing customer, right? So let's go back into it and let's add a couple more tools, or at least one more tool rather, that I'm thinking about that will help us keep track of this information outside of just a Google spreadsheet. Okay, so we're still on our new school AI with agent, right? We've got our tools down here. There's just a ton of tools you can use in here. And we should just try to kind of keep adding to the agent while we got him or while we're thinking of it. It's not a bad idea. Again, we want the agent to be as full featured and flexible as possible, which means just giving it as many tools as possible to allow for that flexibility to fulfill multiple different roles, personas, whatever, to exercise its agency. Now, there's going to be a certain point where you're going to have too many tools, and I would imagine that the agent will start becoming either erratic or rather useless, the same way as if you had a human team member that you gave too many jobs to. Eventually, some of the quality of work on some of those jobs is going to suffer. Work is definitely going to be inconsistent. There's no reason why an agent with an LLM backing it would probably exhibit the same behavior. So let's go in here though, and let's just give it a Slack tool though, right? Because we have our onboarding. We got the people in here. We're reaching out again, but maybe we want to update our own team members with where stuff is. Not necessarily that they don't or can't go into the spreadsheet and see stuff, but hey, why not while we're here tell the agent to just kind of ping our team members and say, hey, I updated this person, or something along that lines, right? So I need to create a new credential. I'm going to connect my account. Cool. Account connected. And just to make this easy, Velocity AI Slack. Super important that you name your credentials, that there's very intuitive naming of it. You're going to have a ton of different credentials in your vault that could be overlapping. You could have multiple Slack connections or credentials. You could have multiple Gmail Sheets connections. So it's really important that you name your credentials a little better than the stock, right? Okay, so tool, we're going to set the description automatically. Let's see what it actually is when it's set automatically, and it's consume Slack API. So that's not terribly useful to the LLM. So we might have to come back in here and actually describe what this tool is specifically for. That is to update a channel with the information. But right now, we're just going to see what we can't get out of that automatic. We're going to send a message, right? That's the operation. We want to send a message to a channel. We're going to select from a list, and I'm just going to send it to builds. It's going to be a simple text message, nothing crazy. And boom, we're going to let the agent figure out what that message is going to be. Should be a fun time. Include link workflow. That's kind of neat, custom bot profile photo. That's cute. Whoa. I love options. You give me options, I'm going to start messing around with all of these. Send as ephemeral message. That's probably not going to be useful, but cool. So obviously we can get in here. We can get really sick with it. I think we'll just keep it basic here. Just give it that one tool because of really the importance of this. And again, I want to rename this so that, again, it is very, and it's not just for the LLM, it's for anybody that has to come in here and inherit whatever Frankenstein thing you did. Really be considerate. Name your actions, name your credentials, give them good, meaningful names, not just for the LLM, but just for your fellow humans. Be cool. It will really go far. So this action, this tool is not just Slack, right? I want to post message to builds channel. Okay. Yeah, it's a mouthful. I get it. But again, when someone's coming in here and inheriting this thing that I built, it's going to be so much more useful to them to be able to put eyes on and understand, post message to builds channel. That's what that tool does. So just be considerate to your fellow humans. But one thing we're also going to need to do in here is update the prompt, right? Because no longer is it just expected to go and send the email or update your sheets. We want it to, if it so chooses, to send a message to Slack. So let's just go. So it does follow-ups, it does the emails. Let's add a new thing. So new members follow-up. We're going to edit says system prompt. You send out welcome emails to new members, follow up with existing members, and post the status of each member's outreach. Now let's rethink that one. Post the outreach status of each member to Slack. Okay, cool. When at the end, let's just keep this simple. Maybe we don't have to do everything. Let's just see if we can't. Come on, give me some space here. Let's see if we can't just leave it at that and see what it decides to do, right? When done. So in theory, the Slack tool should be the last one that it reaches for, where it could just send us an update. Really, again, keep it simple at first, and then you can just turn on that system message, keep screwing that in if you need to down here, but let's see what we get out of this, why not? So we do have 3 members last time we left off. I'm going to just kill all those emails in there. And then we'll add a new member to just kind of get this going. We shouldn't see any follow-up emails. We should just see one, welcome email here. And then at the end of it, we should see a post message to the builds channel. So let's see what we can do. Okay, new member form. Let's go. And we're going to do Chris P. And it's going to be Chuckles plus Chris P at gmail.com. Chuckles House of Horrors. Chris's House of Pain. Okay, you can see our flow is already off to the races. Looks like it's hit a couple of the tools already. It's deep in discussions. We have 2 emails sent. Not great. We were expecting only 1. So let's figure out what's going on with that. It's looking at stuff. Cool. It did hit that Slack tool. So looks like we already have a Slack tool. It sent 3 emails. Again, we only wanted to send 1. And then it ran into a problem. But I really just care about the Slack one. Let's see what emails it was sending. Cool. Chris's House of Pain. Welcome aboard. Got that one. How's it going, Todd? We didn't want it to reach out to Todd again. We sent another one to Chris, and we sent a third one to Chris. Chris is feeling the love here. Yep. Okay. And at this point, I'm pretty sure I know what's going on here is when it is looping, it is providing new context. And I suspect it is overwriting the old context, or it is just ignoring the old context and just appending too much, so that what it's getting, it thinks is that new prompt or that new information every time. So it's just looping. Again, that's an issue, I think, with our prompting technique here. What we would definitely do is just investigate what the returns are on this, see, just to make sure that we are correctly, see, I don't like that. We're correctly interpreting how it's getting that information, appending, and doing the runs. But otherwise, the Slack message, okay, let's see what it did. Get out of the way. This is where we went. Oh, cool. Welcome email sent. Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, and that's as we expected. So it essentially updated our builds with welcome email sent to Chris House of Pain. Follow-up email sent to Todd G. Todd's Stupid House of Horrors. So that's cool. That actually is what happened. It sent a follow-up email to Todd G, even though it shouldn't have. And it did send a welcome email. It actually sent 3 of them to Chris. So I think that was successful in that it did update Slack with true information, even though we didn't really want it to do those things. But I think this just goes to show that we can keep extending this. I think adding that Slack integration is super useful for when we want to not only reach out, not only go in and update our database, as it were. I'm super glad that it did at least update, Todd.
One message, 3 days in. Big difference. You're not just sending a feedback form. You're showing up when most SaaS companies go silent. And here's why it works. It makes your product feel present. It taps into emotional salience. We remember the brands that show up right when we need them. And the best part, you set it up once. Then you let your automation check in for you day after day. This is how you build trust early. This is how you reduce churn without hiring a CS team. This is how you increase LTV on autopilot. So like this video if you've ever been ghosted by a customer and didn't know why. And drop a comment. What's one thing you wish new users told you during onboarding? I've pinned the exact prompt Alex used in this video in the comments. Copy it, customize it, make it yours. And if you want the full N8N workflow from today, check the video description and subscribe for the next episode because we're just getting started with AI-powered growth.